Today we're going to talk about the 5 watches to become the best of the LARP in the community. Now, remember guys, LARPing is always going to be better than looks maxing, because looks maxing includes the Lulu maxing, and we don't want to be delusional. Fake it till you make it, like the Rambo movie. If you want to look like you know your stuff, you want to be that guy at Buffalo Wild Wings whenever your friends are wearing Invictas and Ross watches and they look at you and like, damn bro, what watch are you wearing? I'm gonna tell you the 5 picks with no sort of category. They're my 5 personal favorites for a budget of up to $1,000, and then from here, if you agree, then just give it a like. These are my first 5 picks of best watches to buy if you're trying to LARP hard in this economy. So we're gonna start with a very controversial watch. Number 1 is gonna be the Omega MoonSwatch. Now, the only reason this is a controversial watch is because of degenerates who spend more money in watches than in their actual families and children. They are completely entitled, and they feel like because the Omega MoonSwatch is so accessible to the public, it ruins the brand of Omega. But for those of you that don't know what Omega is one of the most important watch brands of the lifetime. These are the people who sent a watch to the moon, as well as not only sent the watch to the moon. Omega is the same amount of competition as Rolex. They're basically their direct competitors. If you go to Google right now and search up the Omega Speedmaster, you're gonna see that you're not gonna be able to afford that watch either today or anytime soon. However, Omega did something very, very nice with their parent company, Swatch, which Swatch is a company that makes bioceramic plastic watches. They made a watch that's accessible. It's less than $300, and it copies from that Omega Speedmaster look. It looks exactly the same as a Speedmaster. It's just made out of a cheaper build. But for the average Joe who's wearing an Invicta, it doesn't even matter. They're gonna be like, damn, you're wearing an Omega, because it has the Omega logo. To put it in car's perspective, imagine Omega is like the Mustang Dark Horse. It's really like beefy. It's made for sports. It's like amazing. It has a lot of good builds. And your Omega MoonSwatch is basically Mustang EcoBoost. You know, it's not built with the same engine, not built the same cheaper stuff all the way around, but it feels like the same car. So, like, looks-wise, it looks the same, but it's a great watch. And the beautiful thing about the MoonSwatch is that it starts at $280. You can get some options at $290, other ones at maximum of like $400. But you get a lot of variety. My favorite 2 are going to be the Mission to Moonface, which is all black, and it looks very professional, and Mission to Saturn. That one has an actual planet on the actual face of the watch, and it looks fantastic. They're made out of, you know, plastic, so they might not last a lifetime, but for LARPing purposes, it looks good. You don't really care about the quality. You care about how good it looks on you while you're building up your wealth, your success, and whatever the heck you're doing. So next time you go with your friends with their freaking Fossil watches, you are actually wearing an Omega. Whether it's the $300 Omega, doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter if they're wearing a $200 Fossil, it's still a Fossil or an Invicta. So that's going to be my number 1 pick. Now for my number 2, you can't go wrong with the number 2. The number 2, just to get you an idea, is probably one of the most respected watch brands of all time. Is going to be your Seiko automatic watches. Now, the reason why Seiko isn't here is because, unlike Citizen, and you've probably seen Citizen all around your malls, is that Seiko, you're not going to be able to find a Seiko that much. It's only on certain locations. It's not as oversold. It's, you know, the marketing that they do on Citizen, they're both Japanese watches, but Seiko is very respected. You got to understand that Seiko is not only a great entry watch, it's also one of the watches that started the quartz movement. They're the ones responsible for the creation of the quartz movement, which is battery powered watches. So it has a lot of history into the name. And, you know, kind of like the meme, like place in Japan, Seiko is 100% Japanese, and we all love Japan. Especially if you're a LARPer, you're gonna love Japan. Of course you are. And you can get some automatics for as low as $200, highest for like $500s, but you can get a lot of cheaper alternatives from like secondhand market on Chrono24 or whatever. And these watches, honestly, are really good for your money. I actually am wearing one right now, a Seiko automatic. You have the Presage and the Seiko 5s. Honestly, if you're wearing one of these watches, people are going to think you're wearing like a $1,000 watch. For people who don't know watches, if they know watches, they know it's a Seiko, they know it's an entry level. But for your friends who literally only have random ass Walmart G-Shocks and whatever, You pull up with a Seiko automatic, non-power rate, this thing works by itself, they're gonna think you can even LARP, you're gonna be like, this thing was 1,000, they'll believe it. Like, it's a great Star Watch, it's a great watch to LARP. It looks good on casual clothes, it looks with business clothes, it looks good any way you use it. A Seiko all around great watch. Now for my number 3 pick is gonna be again Seiko, but it's gonna be the Divers Seiko watch. Now, not only is it automatic, not only do you have the brand recognition of Seiko Japanese, but also whenever you think of a Rolex, you think of the most sold Rolex is going to be that Dives watch, right? Now, in this list, I'm not going to tell you any of fake watches to start if you want to LARP, because that's going to hurt your LARP if you're wearing fake watches. You're going to immediately be seen as someone who's stupid, and why are you buying fake watches? If you can't afford it, don't buy it. However, there's a definite distinction with the Seiko diver watch. I think it's the Seiko 5 dive watch, because it resembles a lot to the most sold watch that Rolex makes. It looks exactly like the same dive watch, but it's a Seiko. So it's kind of like, think about like Spider-Man holding the bus, that meme. It's literally a replica, but it's held by the brand of Seiko. So it looks like a Rolex, but it has the Seiko brand recognition that saves it from calling it a replica. So, you know, for a D1 LARPer, people are gonna look at it, they're gonna think it's a freaking Rolex, it's a Seiko. But for the people who are actively, you know, on the watch world, they're not gonna clown on you because it's a Seiko. So it's a great watch if you like the dive look of the Rolex, but you don't have Rolex money yet. It's only like $300. You can get other options sold for cheaper, and honestly, it's a great watch. Now, these are very starter watches for people who are just starting into the watch world. So if you're gonna LARP max, these are gonna be the best 3 watches under $500. Now, these last 2 picks are gonna be the best LARP watches all around. They're gonna last you long, they're gonna look good on you, you're gonna get respect from a lot of people, even watch nerds. And honestly, next time, like, you go to that restaurant with your friends, this time whenever you're LARPing, you're gonna be aura maxing, meaning like you're gonna pull up and your watches are gonna stick out like a sore thumb, but this time they're gonna stick out in a good way, you know, not like a fake Rolex or a fake AP. They're gonna look like, damn dude, where the hell you get that watch, how much it costs, like whatever. That's how you LARP max to the maximum, and the way you do that is with these last 2 watches. So my number 4th pick is gonna be a very known watch brand called the Tissot PRX, normally a Powermatics. They're about $1,000, $800. You can get them cheaper on the second market. But the difference between these watches is that this watch not only looks phenomenal, it holds value. It's actually expensive. It's about $1,000 to get one, but they're Swiss made, as well as the Omega, but like that one is quartz movement. But this is a Swiss made, so it's basically like a cheap entry Rolex. And a lot of people who wear Tissot PRXs, I mean, this is like the Sauvage of watches. They respect it because it has the same build as a Rolex. It may not be as luxurious as a Rolex, but it has the whole DNA that Rolex has behind its current, you know, lineup of watches like the Datejust and the dive watches. It has that Swiss movement. It's the cheapest entry for you to get that Swiss movement. It has a lot of history. Tissot makes really solid watches, and honestly, as a great LARP watch, if you're wearing a Tissot PRX, not only are you saving on value, because that's going to be your first watch that you buy, and you're going to be able to resell it someday, maybe for half the price, but it has some value, not like a Seiko, right? You buy this Seiko, looks cool, but you know, in 2 months, it's going to be worth $50. With the Tissot, you're going to keep some value in it. It's going to look good. It's going to stand out because it looks different. It looks classy, and it's Swiss made. And Tissot is a very recognized and a very respected brand. So you can get them. They're not as popular, but even if they're popular, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to be honest, if you're looking for exclusivity, get an Invicta, because I bet you nobody in the world is going to be able to find another Invicta like the one you find at Walmart. So if you want something that actually has recognition, branding, LARP success, that makes you look like, damn, I'm aura maxing right now, like my watch is literally I am the boss, the myth, the legend, I'm the GOAT, I'm the LARPer of LARPs, freaking Tissot PRX, great choice. Now for my final pick, this is going to be the last watch. I think this is one of the most to-go watches with the most amount of history, the best look overall, and it just fits any sort of way that you dress, is going to be the Hamilton Murph. The Hamilton Murph is about $1,000. It has a lot of recognition. And it's also one of those watches that came from the movie Interstellar. The reason it's my number one is because, one, it's respected all around. Two, it looks super classy. Like, it's a watch that's not trying to stand out. It's trying to keep itself low key, but it's a good brand and a good watch with a good history. That's why the Hamilton is my number one pick, because not only are you getting it for like $1,000, but you can get it a little cheaper on second market. It looks good. It looks classy. It goes with any type of outfit you're currently wearing, and it helps you LARP max to the next level possible. Because whenever you go there with your friends again, you know, you guys are chilling, you know, they pull up with the Fossil watch, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I spent $300 on this watch and whatever. You're gonna just pull up with your freaking Hamilton and be like, oh yeah, like, that's cool, bro. Like, I have a Hamilton, like, you know, like that, like, I'm step down, bro. King's home. Like, Hamilton all the way to the top, because it's just great build quality, great history, great looks, and it's just a watch that gets respected by you, by your friends, by your dad, by like the freaking dude that lives on the other street of the house. Like, it gets respected because it's a good ass watch. So if you want to become a D1 LARPer, trust these are gonna be your best 5 watches under $1,000. You can start with something as cheap as the Omega, get something as big as a Tissot, and then if you got the money, get the freaking Hamilton, and you're gonna be set. But a Seiko is always a great place to start. And that's it, bros. That's all of the LARP I can tell you today. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did like the freaking video, I don't know. Either way, we're gonna be LARPing today, tomorrow, and until I die. See ya.